Welcome to the show. What's your favorite memory of the Hulkster?
Oh, man. So my favorite memory was growing up. I remember him and Mr. T on Saturday Night Live. I remember watching that and just loving it. And because that was during the WrestleMania. And I told my dad, I said, I've got to see this match. I've got to see this. And so my dad, where we lived in Alabama, there was no movie theaters showing it, because if you remember, it's not like it is now where you could, or even back when the WCW and WWE were head to head, there wasn't no just buying it on pay-per-view. You had to have a satellite, or you had to go to a movie theater because they were showing it, closed circuit, and so he drove me to Atlanta, Georgia. It was a 2.5-hour drive. But he drove me to Atlanta, Georgia. We could have just went on to New York and went and watched it there. But we went to Atlanta, watched it at the theater, and I just remember, he made me a Hulk Hogan T-shirt because we couldn't find one. It's not like it is, because people just forget you didn't have the convenience that you have now back in the 80s when it comes to merchandise, when it comes to, you either ordered it and got it COD, or
it took a while.
You did it. It took a long time. So that was my memory of Hulk Hogan.
I never heard the story of someone actually going and seeing the closed circuit. I always heard about it because I grew up I caught some of it, but we didn't go or pay for it even then. But it was like when it became pay-per-views, I always wondered, is like you're watching it like a movie? Do they is there an intermission? Do you in between matches everybody run to the bathroom like they do? I have so many questions. Is it popcorn just like the movies? All those pieces, but that really is a funny thing that the caller brought up. If you wanted some merchandise, you went in a magazine, ripped out the paper, wrote a check, one of your parents' checks, wrote it in there, and maybe in 8 to 10 weeks you got a T-shirt that was double X when you're 8 years old and 40 pounds. You can get you have multiple options, which is wild.
There's no WWEshop.com back in 1984. Eastbay was the closest thing when I got to college. Eastbay, when that package showed up from Eastbay,
what Hulk Hogan meant to me, and I grew up in the 90s, so I knew Hulk Hogan and NWO before I knew Hulk Hogan from the Golden Era. I actually learned more about Hulk Hogan in the Golden Era playing WWE 2K14.
So did a lot of fans.
Yeah, but anyway, I just want to honor all of our fallen brothers that we have lost this week, and I've just been encouraging all my people when I'm on duty, standing around, love each other, embrace your family, because you just never know when your number's going to be pulled. And God bless all of you.
It really does. And a lot of Gen Xers growing up here with Cosby Show, Black Sabbath, and Hulk Hogan. It's like, it comes in threes, but also like that was our entire the three different worlds of our childhood all at the same time. And it really does. There was something a couple years ago. My dad we moved to insurance or something. He's like, hey, we gotta work on some stuff. And I'm on the phone with him because we're cross country, and he's like, okay, so we're gonna plan for my dad. Here's what we're gonna do. And you're like what? Like what? You're 58. Like, what are we doing? Like, I go, oh, I guess this happens at some point, because there is that, and you have to genuinely go. And just like you said, so many times your parents maybe you FaceTime or something.
First of all, thank you guys for having me. And I wanted to say, I'm an indie wrestler myself, and Hogan, much like you, Nick, Hogan was kind of the first thing that really set the spark where I was like, okay, when I grow up, that's going to be my job. I'm doing that. I first discovered him when I was a kid I'm sure y'all remember Hogan Knows Best on VH1. And, I was like, Mom, who is this guy? And my mom hated wrestling. She was just like, oh, yeah, he was a wrestler, and all. And then my cousin was a huge Hulkamaniac, and he had the Hulk Hogan Ultimate Anthology box set, and he let me borrow it, and I basically stole it from him because I watched the whole thing on repeat. This was back when, before the WWE Network and Peacock, I had so many box sets. But that was my first one because I was like, all right, let's see if this guy's, up to the hype. I want to see what he's like when he's younger. And, I was glued. And, I got into WWE like 2000. 2007 is, when I became a fan. All my friends at school would talk about guys like The Big Show and Shawn Michaels and you, Nick. They talk about Dolph Ziggler. And I was like, yeah, those guys are great, but like, have you watched Hogan's stuff? Because he did it first.
Yeah,
and,
there's no doubt about it.
And Hogan was probably my favorite match. If I had to pick one from back then, was Hogan and Mr. T at the first WrestleMania doing the tag. And the match was great, but them, like their entrance is really what made me want to get into the business, because of just the aura they had and the showmanship of it. They kind of did the Goldberg thing before Goldberg, because you saw them walking from the back, and that's what made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. So, I just want to say that, say what you